effects of children when they come from homes that become broken because of parental, when parents can't reconcile, it ends up being very difficult for those two young people because society demonstrates to them that they should be in a two-household home. When they look at television, when they look at media, they're like Blue Ivy. They want to have a Beyonce and they want to have a Jay-Z. But very rarely is that the case when we live in a world where emotions play into it, where economics play into it, and how those can end up neglecting the fundamentals that need to be in place to have stable two-parent households.
Pause it now.
Okay.
You can't pause it.
You are an idiot.
I'm gonna cut it up anyway. All right. The next one is. I'm gonna skim through this real fast so I can let you know. I talk about like the different reasons why the different reasons why parents break up, why they end up breaking up and stuff. So
I mean, a lot of times it can be due to parents break up, usually. A lot of times because they know that they want family, but a lot of times they don't come from families themselves where they have mothers and fathers and they have children. It becomes harder for them to maintain what they call a quote-unquote nuclear family if they don't come from a nuclear family because people have a lot of assumptions of what it is to be in a two-parent household, and those assumptions can end up being the very reason that the very basis that undermines a two-parent household, just sometimes simply not coming from a family structure that they may desire, but they don't necessarily know the components of how that entity relates to each other and how that relates to producing that family result that they want.
Why does the financial have a big impact on parents breaking up?
It has a tremendous impact because it's all about expectations and people have expectations and in families, I mean, nothing is the individuals within the family. Family is in and of itself the definition of a collective enterprise, and so depending on who's in that collective enterprise, how they value themselves or over or undervalue themselves within that enterprise, then it can break down into a money situation where people feel that they're entitled to things based upon what they've done and what they recognize as being valuable, and yet that may not be the same value system may not be had by a partner within it, and those incompatibilities within reconciling what the economics is that they both have and what those economics mean as individuals. And sometimes people can't see that they're not individuals, they're one and the same, and yet people can overvalue and undervalue themselves within a relationship.
Why is it hard for children to accept a new, like a stepfather, stepmother into their life rather than their own biological parents when the parents break up and one has moved up?
Because I think that, most young people want to be with their mother, their biological parents. And it may not necessarily even be that step-parent is a bad parent. It may be that the kid wants an ideal situation and they see that other person is not being a part of that process. Sometimes it does work out where you have, children in households where they do respect their non-biological parent because there's been a foundation of respect laid. In some cases it isn't because, again, that same foundation hasn't been laid, and it's all it's all on an individual basis and how the adults within that situation are able to know what they need to do for themselves and how that is going to be able to have an impact on that adolescent, that child that is within that relationship.
What type of behavior does what type of behavior does a child display when they reaction towards having to see like a stepfather or stepmother to their life? Like what type of negative behavior could that cause?
It could be tremendous. It all depends on what personal responsibilities the adult is taking within that relationship. Obviously, they're not demonstrating what they should be doing. It's more about telling as opposed to teaching, and it's going to be a very difficult situation, especially when you're not dealing with your biological child. And even in dealing with your biological child, it can be a difficult assignment for an adolescent to want to come under adult authority as it relates to taking in lessons that are going to be valuable in life.
What type of, as an example of relationship, the parents' relationship, what type of example does their parent relationship affect them, and how they might deal with their relationship as they?
It's all about respect. I mean, if you're in a household where you're an adolescent and you have two adults that don't respect each other, then that's going to have a tremendous impact on what you perceive respect to be. However, reversely, if you live in a household where you have two adults that respect each other, then that is going to reciprocate to that adolescent, and knowing that respect is a vital component to living within a harmonious and peaceful household. And it's all about the value of respect. Relationships are really nothing but repositories for respect. And when you have great relationships, there's a tremendous amount of respect. There's a tremendous amount of sensitivity. When you don't have a situation where there's a lot of respect and you have a lot of acrimony, you have a lot of turmoil. And so it's all about how people balance those issues, whether it be showing a lot of respect or showing a lot of disrespect. Those things have factors as it relates to the adolescents that come up in households that may have one or the other, or it may be even both sometimes, and that can be interesting as well.
How do you feel when parents break up? How do you feel that the parent who's no longer living in the same household with their child can still make an impact onto their child's life without necessarily living in the same household?
It being respectful. I think that knowing that their time is their time to build their relationship with their child and not tear down the other person's relationship. I think that you don't want to put the adolescent in a situation where they're forced to pick between two parents. There should be one ideal that the parents, irrespective of how their personal relationship may be, their personal relationship should have enough maturity within it that they present a united front in dealing with the adolescent, whether it be a biological or a co-biological, non-biological relationship.
That's it.
Thank you. Peace.